Hello, and how is everyone doing today? Happy Sunday. My name is Andrew, and I am the 5 p.m. chef. I hope you're all having a great day. Here, you know what? It's a little gray and cloudy. It's really damp and cold, though. So, I want to make something nice and warm and comforting, and I was thinking what to do, but I thought maybe I'd show you a technique that you can use, and using that you can spring it off into a lot of other things. What we're going to make today is a very simple white sauce. Then we're going to change that sauce into something, and we're going to use it in something else. So you'll kind of see where I'm going in a second. I'm really scruffy today because for one, the heater I have right behind me kind of died. So it's a little bit chilly down here today. Many of you know I'm in a basement right now. So I'm going to do what we can to keep warm. So let's try and move this. I know you can't see anything yet, but you will soon. There we go. So what I have here is just my standard little sauce pot. I melted about 4 tablespoons of butter in it. Next, just some standard all-purpose flour. I'm going to put 2 tablespoons in. And this is what's known as a roux. This is just a really simple way to thicken a sauce, and depending on how long you cook this for, you can have a blonde roux all the way up to what they call a brick roux. And the longer you cook it, the more flavor it'll have, because you're basically toasting that flour, but the less it'll thicken. Whereas the less you cook it, the more thickening power it's going to have, but the less taste it's going to have. Which, for what we're doing here, is fine. We don't need a ton of flavor from the grilled flour. We're doing this really just to thicken our white sauce. And a white sauce is nothing more than a roux with some milk or some cream, or a combination of. Today, I'm just going for a very, very simple milk cream sauce, because we're going to be adding a lot of other flavors to that, so we don't need to go crazy. Once I know all my flour is incorporated, we can just add some milk. Now, the more this heats up, the thicker it's going to get as well. So that's something else you have to think about. If it gets too thick on you, add a little bit more milk. If you don't think it's thick enough, just let it cook a bit longer, and it'll take care of that. The important thing when you're making a milk sauce is you don't really walk away from it too long, and you really want to make sure all of that flour and butter mixture that we started off with, that roux, gets mixed into there, because otherwise you get a lumpy gravy or a lumpy sauce, and no one likes lumps. And since these are lumps of flour, they're really going to taste bad. Now, where would you use this? By itself? Not really anywhere. But it's what you do to this sauce that changes it all. You can just add, at this point, some fresh dill and some lemon, and you've got a great sauce for either chicken or fish. You can do what I'm going to be doing very shortly, and that's adding some cheese. Use it as a mac and cheese. use it as a cheese sauce over any other pasta or over some meats. Like today, you'll see how, once again, I've taken a very, very basic, simple, bland sauce. We're going to add a bunch of cheese to it, get a lot of flavors from that. Then from that, we'll complete another dish. So in this case, it's not so much a sauce, but it is almost like a binder. So I can see this is thickening here. I know it's really kind of hard to tell that on the camera. But we're getting little wisps of steam. So that's what we want. So now I can start adding my cheese. And this is just some diced cheese. You can shred it if you want, but I was lazy. And we have some mozzarella, some Swiss cheese, and some sharp cheddar cheese. This is also a great way of getting rid of all those little bits that you get left over in the fridge. Just chop them all up or throw them in the food processor to get it even smaller, and away you go. The main thing again is you just want to keep stirring this. You want to work all that cheese in. When you're using different cheeses, you're going to start seeing some melt faster than others. Now you can sort of see how it's getting thicker, even on the camera. You don't want to do this over crazy high heat. Medium, low heat is more than enough. And again, keep stirring, working in a little bit more of that cheese each time. And you can see already it's nice, it's getting nice and stringy and cheesy. This is also a great way to do a fondue. Just change the seasonings up. A little nutmeg, little wine in there. And you've got a great cheese fondue. Now as I add cheese, I can you can see too, that's getting a lot thicker. So if I see it gets too thick, I'll just add some more milk. But we're almost there. The last of the cheese goes in. Now this will go quicker if you grate the cheese. But like I said, today's Sunday. I'm just sort of in a lazy-ish mood. So I just diced it up. It'll take a couple of minutes longer. Not the end of the world. You can see how thick and smooth and creamy this is getting. I am just going to add a pinch more milk. Now that's, for a few seconds, is okay to let go. Now we're just going to toss in some seasonings. I've got one block of cheese there that's stuck to my whisk. There's still a few chunks of cheese in there, but that's okay. So I'm going to add a healthy dose of black pepper. If you make this sauce even like really thick, toss some jalapenos into it, and you've got a excellent sauce for nachos, or even better, dipping pretzels in. I know we keep talking about pretzels and I'm going to make them, but just a few things going on right now where I don't have the time or the space, but I do promise you that the pretzel video is coming. Little salt. I'm not going to add a ton of salt because I still have another cheese to go in here. So this would be a classic 4-cheese sauce. Not hard to figure out where the name comes from. 4 different cheeses. And you can change these up. Like I said, I'm using some cheddar, some mozzarella, some Swiss, and now I've got some Parmesan. This is where a lot of my saltiness is going to come from. But you can change it however you want. You can just do with 1 cheese. You could do it with a nice Havarti or a Monterey Jack with jalapenos. If you are doing that nacho route, goes great. If you're doing a mac and cheese, at this point is where I would add my macaroni, have it as a stovetop, or pour it into your casserole dish, put some breadcrumbs on it, bake that up, and you're just in heaven. This is going to be so cheesy. And at this point, we're done. The sauce is ready. I'm turning my heat off. It's ready to go. And just make sure we have no little clumps or anything, which we don't. So I'm going to take that off the heat. And we're going to carefully, once again, I know the shot of the top of my stove isn't the best, but it's better than nothing right now. So how's the pepper cap sound? So how are we going to spin this off? How are we going to turn a simple sauce into a dinner? Well, everyone loves scalloped potatoes or ham and scalloped potatoes. And don't get me wrong, I love it too, but I just hate having to make 2 separate dishes. I hate having to make the scalloped potatoes, roast the ham, and then it's a big deal to serve it all. So what I do is, right here I've just got some some potatoes that I cut up like last time when we did the live vlog with the breaded chicken. Now I've got some diced ham. I just bought a pre-cooked ham. Most of the time they're like they look like a half moon or something. They might be called a deli ham because you can just slice it up and use it as a sandwich filling, sandwich meat, a deli meat. So we've got our ham there. We've got that. Now comes, I'm just going to move this a little bit because I don't want to hit the camera. And now we're just going to pour all this gorgeous sauce over everything. So what's going to happen is all that cheese sauce is going to seep in between the potatoes. It's going to help them to cook. You know, I've just got a little bit of ham left over here for the few little pieces. It's not worth trying to save them. What I love about this, whoop, camera's going up, there we go. What I love about this particular dish is you can make it, let it chill, put it in the fridge, and then you can just easily heat it up in the microwave again once it's cooked, or just come home from work, toss it in the oven, and you're done. Now, we've got a really cheesy sauce that's going to soak up into those potatoes and season, but you know what? You know me. I've got to have more cheese. So we're just going to put a few strips. Again, if you want to grate this, you can. I'm just being really quick. That's it. Give it another. Try and do this so the camera. Sorry about all that. So the camera doesn't get hit too much. So we've got our casserole done. So how it worked, what we did. Come on. Computer wasn't behaving there. So what did we do? We started off with a simple, bland, boring white sauce. We modified it. We added some cheese, some seasoning. We made it how we wanted it to taste. Like I said, I did it with cheese. You could do it with so many other things. That same sauce is also the base to the sausage and biscuit gravy. So you can see it is a versatile sauce. I poured it over some potatoes, some ham. I'm going to bake this in the oven at 375 for about an hour. And I'm actually going to put this in now because that's hot. That was a little toasty. Yeah, so I'm going to bake that for about an hour. And we're done. Again, a dinner that took under 15 minutes from starting all the cutting to getting it in the oven in under 15 minutes. The hour spent in the oven is time you can get other things done. It doesn't count. What counts is you've made a dinner from scratch at home where you can make it your way. You can season it however you want. You want to do it with the roast ham on the side and the scalloped potatoes by themselves? Go for it. Instead of ham, do it with a roast pork, or even roast chicken and scalloped potatoes is incredible. You can change this, and when you learn how to adapt basic cooking principles, basic cooking ideas, well, then the world's yours. The world's your oyster. You can take that same sauce, throw it on a pizza crust with some grilled chicken and some broccoli, some cheese, and have an incredible pizza. Really different, but for cheese lovers, pure heaven. So, I'm going to let this cook. We'll come back in about an hour. We'll show you how it all looks, and we'll dig in. So, till then, we'll see you back in a little while. Well, we're back. It's been a little over an hour. I let it cook a bit longer. I wanted the potatoes a bit softer. And this is something everyone's going to have to do. About an hour at 375 is normal, but it depends on the potatoes you're using. Some take a bit longer to cook. So, this is the important part. This is what it all comes down to. This is dinner. You can see that cheese sauce bubbling, how the cheese is all nice and golden brown on top, how some of that ham is like got a nice little char on it, like a bacon. The potatoes are nice and soft. It smells incredible. But, just turning that oven off because it's really warm in here now. But you can see how simple that was. We started off with a really basic plain sauce, added some ingredients to it to change it into a nicer sauce, and then used that with other just simple ingredients. We came up with this gorgeous casserole. So, as always, Now comes the important part. Oh wow, this is so cheesy. In a good way. See how hot that is. So you know that means, of course, I'm going to burn myself trying this because, well, we have to. Let's get one of those nice little charred bits of ham. Whoop, potato. That cheese sauce is just so good. And now, this is going to hurt. That's so good. I'm actually able to get the Parmesan and the Swiss. The smokiness of the ham is there. The potatoes are nice. They aren't super soft, but they're cooked, so they don't just fall apart and it's not mushy. But it is just one of those meals that warms you up from the inside and just makes you smile. That cheese sauce is so good. It's rich, but it's not too heavy. So I really, I'm looking at the plate going like, I want more. And I'm gonna have more. This is just one of those simple ideas that you can play around with. Start off with that white sauce. Add some of your favorite ingredients to it. Try just adding some grilled onions to the sauce. Or add some capers and dill and put it over fish. Really, the choices are limitless. So we started off really simple, and we've come out to something really delicious. I hope this is something you're going to try. I hope it's something you'll learn from, and you can see just how simple it is. That's what this is all about. I don't want to be super complicated. I don't want to be the one who says 200 grams of this, 100. I want to show you a simple, easy technique that you can use and make your own. That's what we're all about. You learn this, takeout gets further and further away from you because it's that quick and easy. It's all made fresh. You know everything that went in there, and that's what it's about. I hope you enjoyed this video. Please like, share, and subscribe. The more people who subscribe, the more it helps me and the more it helps the channel grow. So, until we meet again, my name is Andrew. Thank you for coming to my kitchen. I hope you try this, and as always, enjoy.